vote to approve the minutes. All in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Thank you, Sue, and thank you for your service to the board as the secretary for the past year. We really appreciate that. Okay. Again, welcome to the meeting. This has truly been an historic year for our Y, and thanks to the dedication and tireless commitment of both volunteers and staff, we have a plan to move forward. And in December, we will break ground for our beautiful new building at Mahakano. And I have to tell you, there were so many nervous moments during the year that I had wondering exactly what I was going to say this June as to what our status was. So I can't tell you how pleased I am to be able to announce that we are moving forward. We had a joint meeting of the Board of Directors and Trustees last month, and it was unanimous. So today is a time for reflection and celebration. Today is a tribute to everyone in this room and countless others who have worked for more than a decade to bring this dream to fruition. Today is a tribute to everyone who believed we could get this done. Many in this room have been generous donors, and many have also given countless hours over the last decade. Today, we take time to thank everyone who has helped bring us to this transformational point in the history of our Y. So now I'd like to take a few moments to bring you through some of the highlights of our year. It's been a year full of challenges.
There'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. Mama said,
That's me on the mountain. And a lot of us. Many days felt like that. It was dark too. And we've had a lot of obstacles thrown in front of us, not this year, just this year, but over the last decade. And indeed, some things cannot be overcome with determination and a positive attitude, but we have plenty of that. And perseverance is really what got us through. It's the perseverance of our staff and volunteers that enabled us to keep moving forward.
Rob, is that your car?
We have courageous volunteers like Pete Walgast, who came to our campaign meetings week after week and cheerfully proclaimed that he had not given up and that he believed we could find the funds. We have staff like Rob and Dave and John Simons, our development director, who came to work every day with a smile on their faces and told me that we are not giving up. There were always more people to call on, more prospects to cultivate. Until we had finished asking everyone and anyone for money, we were going to keep trying, and that's what we did. It's this kind of courage and fortitude to ignore what many felt was the obvious wisdom of turning back that kept us going. So last May, we publicly announced our Building What Matters campaign on the steps of this very Bedford building, the same site where our generous benefactor, Edward T. Bedford, first gave this Y to the town of Westport in 1923. And in July, at a joint meeting of our Board of Directors and Board of Trustees, we voted for the first time to move forward with the actual construction project, to authorize $1.6 million for the development of design documents. I mean, believe it or not, after all these years, we really didn't have design documents for the building that we were planning to build, and also to develop a budget for the actual construction of our building. And then in December, we got the estimate back. And this is one of those obstacles I was alluding to earlier. The estimate came back at $56 million. We've been told the estimate was going to be 52, but we were going to get it down to 42, and it came back at 56. And after a lot of work, the committee got it down to 46, which back in last December, that level of budget really was not attainable given to where we were in our fundraising. So we took a pause in the project from December until February to look at our options. And one of the options was to go back to our construction team and asked them what we could build for an agreed upon budget amount of $36 million, which is what we did feel that we could raise in time to build the building for the schedule that we have when we need to move out of this building. And within a matter of weeks, and it really was a matter of weeks, our very amazing and talented construction team and our construction committee came back with a revolutionary plan to phase the project. And unfortunately, we never actually thought of this, but we're going to build the building in phases. And this is actually the way most major construction projects happen. This is the way most Ys get built. So we realized we could start with a 54,000 square foot building for a $36 million budget, and then we can add on as we go. And they showed us a plan for how we could do that to eventually build the full 102,000 square foot facility. And we couldn't have been more excited to find a way where we really could move forward with this project. So we spent a good part of the year not just designing the budget, but also working on our fundraising. And this chart shows our funding gap. And as of last October, and even before, the funding gap was over $25 million, given the $50+ million budget for the building. And as we raised more money, the funding gap went down, and also as we changed the scope of the project to phase the building. So as of March, when we had our public meeting next door at Christ and Holy Trinity, our funding gap was $6 million, which still at that point seemed fairly daunting. And now there's the next. The next slide, the green bars show how much money we've raised, so you can see we have a good trend in that area, although it was slow. It was slow. But after our March meeting next door, with the news that we would have to close if we didn't raise $6 million within a couple of months, donations started to flow in from many people. And remarkably, donations flowed in the very next day after that meeting. And you can see on the next slide, the orange line is the number of donors. And this is really where we saw the change. After we went public in March, it's kind of an inflection point in the graph. And we had around 125 donors at that point. And right after that meeting, the number of donors really started to accelerate. Today we have over 260 donors. But by the end of the year, we expect that number to be in the thousands as we expand into the much more public phase of our campaign. But we're grateful for the progress we've made, but there's much work left to be done. We can pause, but we can't afford to rest. Sorry, my clicker doesn't always respond quickly. But thanks to the leadership of Rosemary Halstead and so many others who have been here for so long, who imagined the possibilities, we are moving to Mahakano. And thanks to Ian Bruce, the steering committee, and our many advisors who guided us through the permitting and the political processes, we're going to make Mahakano happen. We have a vision for our future. We're not simply building a Y, we're investing in the lives of all who live and work here. This was never really about a building. This has been and will always be about building what matters. It's about youth development. It's about healthy living for all. It's about a warm and welcoming environment for everyone, regardless of their physical capabilities. It's about building self-esteem and confidence in our young people. It's about learning to care for our environment. It's about families gathering together and doing healthy activities. Oh, well, we missed that. All right. Oops. It's about a place where our seniors can come together and socialize. And so as we look forward to the day when we open the doors of our new building on Allen Raymond Lane at the Camp Mahakano site, we are looking forward to a vision of all of the new things that we can do in this Y, in addition to everything that we do here today. And so we look forward to that, and I hope that you will all imagine the possibilities as we go through the next 2 years until our doors are open.